welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie if you're new here. Today we're going to be doing my eyeshadow roulette for August, which is super exciting. If you don't know what I'm doing for eyeshadow roulette, every month I'm rolling in 4 random eyeshadows throughout all my palettes, singles, all of that to work on each month. And my goal is to use them each 5-ish times, but I'm really, happy with it. Each month I do roll something different, so it is different than the Candles eyeshadows, but it's definitely heavily inspired. I just think it's fun to kind of, get to know your collection a little bit more. I'm using shades that maybe I'm not immediately drawn to. I'm figuring out different ways that I like to experiment with my makeup, so that is what we're doing. I'm going to start by telling you about my experience with the shades that I rolled in for July. Then we're going to talk about my pan percentage, and then we're going to roll in the next shades, and then I'm going to put all 4 of the brand new shades on my eyeballs. So let's go ahead and start with the shades that I used in July. They were all ColourPop shades from 2 different palettes. So I have the Wild Nothing palette and the Bare Necessities. These were the 2 that everything fell out of. And yeah, so let's go ahead and start with the smaller one, the Wild Nothing. The shade that I had in here was Seashells, which is this really pretty kind of like lighter green shade. I really enjoy this shade. That's why I was so inspired to get this palette. This green to me is like a perfect beginner green because it's not over the top, and it pulls kind of gold on the eyes. It's definitely got a nice reflex, so I wouldn't say that you can always tell that like, oh my gosh, she's wearing green eyeshadow type thing. It's definitely more subtle than that. So I really enjoyed using this all over the lid. I liked using it with like a brown crease with more of an orange crease. And I was able to kind of play around with this palette a little bit more. The past month I liked using the Super Shock shades in here. I really like this as a first transition shade. So yeah, really happy that I had this one. I pulled out, and super happy that it was my favorite shadow in the palette. I used Seashells a total of 5 times, which actually kind of surprised me. I might have used it more than that, but I tracked it 5 times, so we'll go with that. Okay, the 3 other shades were all from the Bare Necessities palette, so I'm just going to kind of go through from top to bottom here. So the first one was On Holiday, which is this shade right here. It's kind of like matte, taupey, gray, cool toned shadow, and I actually use this as my face contour. For my complexion and skin tone and all of that, this actually does look like a shadow on my skin. So it's on my finger there. I'm going to have to definitely like build up this swatch here, so give me... Oops, that was the wrong shade. Give me a second to get that going. But it really is a beautiful match for me. So it's right above. I'm not sure if you're really going to be able to pick up on it too much, but hopefully you can see it just looks like a shadow there, and that's why I really love it as a contour. I also did use it on my eyes a couple of times. I ended up using On Holiday 10 times throughout the past month. I feel like I contour more in the winter, but still really like it. So that was a fun one, even though I kind of use it regularly anyway. It was nice to have it as a focus and kind of as an excuse to use it a little bit more. The other shade in here is Hot Gossip, which is this kind of like light brown here on the side. I would say this is like a neutral, leaning, warm brown, and I really liked it as a crease color. It was just a perfect kind of everyday crease shade. I have it on this finger here, and that's what it looks like. So I was able to use this quite a bit because I could put it down as a crease shade, and I could still go warm or cool tones. I felt like it matched pretty much any shade I want to use on the lid. I usually like a shimmer or metallic on the lid, so I could go gold, I could go purple, I could go green, I could go really in any direction because this brown is pretty flexible in that way. So I used, let's see here, Hot Gossip 8 times throughout the month, and really liked it. It's very, very nice shadow, and definitely will get more use out of it in the future. The last shade that I had in was Tabloid, which is this one right down here, this kind of like more rich matte brown, but it's not quite like a chocolate or a liner shade. I did try to use it as a liner a couple times, and it just wasn't dark enough to my liking, but I did really like it as a like kind of blowing out the outer corner and like that kind of area of your eye. So that's a swatch of it at the top of my knuckles there, and I really liked it. Like I said, I used it also on the lower lash line a few times to kind of deepen that up and give some more definition. So this was a pretty easy, I would say, quad, and I should mention most of my collection is very neutral. I do think I'm going to pull the plug and get a rainbow palette soon, so that will make these more interesting. But this was a very easy kind of set of 4 shades to use together, or, you know, independently of each other, because they just really worked with most of my collection. So for the month of July, I had these 2 palettes in my makeup basket predominantly, which was really nice and easy to kind of go with. Sometimes I pop the ColourPop shades out and put it in a Z palette, but this month I want to keep with the actual like full palettes, and I'm really glad I did that. So yeah, those are the 4 from July. And oh, did I say this? I used tabloid 6 times. I can't remember. Okay, so now we're gonna move into my collection update and my pan percentage update. So last month I had a total of 90 eyeshadows. I have not purchased any more eyeshadow this month, so I have been doing no by July, which includes my makeup. So I did not purchase any, so I still have 90 eyeshadows. And I have hit pan on 1 more shade. So I actually hit pan on a shade that was in my Project Pan, and it came from the Bare Necessities palette, so it's convenient to have this out. When I hit pan on the shade Tease Me right here, so hopefully you can see that, there we go, the Money Shot. So this is Tease Me, and I used it to set my primer. I have the goal in my Project Pan to go through all the shades that I can use to set my primer and hit pan on all of them. So that's why there's already 3 pans up there in that corner, because I've used all of those enough to hit pan. So yeah, I hit another pan, so I have a total of 12 eyeshadows in my collection with pan. So 12 out of 90 brings my pan percentage to 13.33%, which I can't even believe I'm in the double digits. That's just crazy. So I'm really proud of that and happy that I was able to hit pan on another one this month. All right, so now we're at the exciting part. I'm gonna grab my phone and get ready. We're going to roll in 4 new shades. And I am going to, let's see here, I have 2 through 91. I do have 2 scenarios where we might have to re-roll. So the first one is if a shade is in my current like rotation in my Project Pan, I'm going to re-roll because I don't need a shade to be in 2 projects. I'd rather have a different shadow in to focus on, you know? And then the other instance would be if it was any of the 4 shades that I just had in, I like to give them a month off. So I don't take them out of the spreadsheet, I just have them highlighted, and then next month they're fair game again. So I can roll in shades again throughout the year. So anyway, let's just roll 4 shades and then I'll figure out what we need to do. So here we go. Oh, 63, 32, 18, and 81. All right, so just give me a minute. I'm gonna check my spreadsheet and I'll be right back. All right, so all of those shades worked out. We don't need to do any re-rolls today, and I'm very excited with the palettes that were selected. So I don't know what every shade is necessarily, but I know what palettes they came from. And I should mention, my spreadsheet is in alphabetical order by the shadow name, because I feel like it just helps with the randomization. So I'm just gonna start at the top of my spreadsheet and work down. So the first shade, number 18, came from my ColourPop That's Taupe palette, and I got the shade Constrictor, which is, ooh, this kind of like deep shimmery shade right here. I have a feeling this might lean a little green. We'll see, let's give it a swatch. That's what it looks like on my finger, and then very pretty. It's got some nice shine to it, so I'm excited for that. That should be fun. I haven't been in this palette for a couple months, so that's exciting. Okay, the next one came from my e.l.f. Cream and Sugar palette, which, spoiler alert, I'm panning the first shade in here. I already pan on it, and I'm trying to finish it up. So I already have this kind of pulled out every day, so it's kind of nice to have another shade in here. So I got the shade 4, which would be the dark brown. So that's nice because I can totally use that as a liner, and I was actually just thinking the other day, I should probably try to hit pan on this one anyway, because I have it out every day. So it's like the universe knew. So let's get a swatch of this dark brown. I've used it as a liner before, and I know that I like it, but just a nice chocolate brown shade there. Very pleased. Okay, moving on. The next shade is from my Wild Nothing palette again, so kind of fun to have this one back out. And the shade I got is Sultan, which, ooh, is the ColourPop Super Shock kind of formula here. So it's a very like shiny, of course, but like champagne, and it has gold glitter running through it. I really like this shade, so it's on my finger. And that's it on the hands. So metallic and pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then the last shade came from my ABH Soft Glam 2 palette. And the shade I got is Tempera, which is the matte setting shade. So what I'm gonna do with this, because I am panning this one in the e.l.f. Cream and Sugar Quad, but Tempera is a little bit lighter. So I think I'm gonna use this underneath my brow bone, and then I'll use this one to actually like set down my primer, and it'll be okay. I don't want them to be competing, but I think I can get different uses, or I could definitely use this like in a corner or all over the lid, because it's a little bit kind of like satiny. So here's a swatch there, and then at the top there. So I am so excited. I am really happy with this selection. Okay, so now we're going to put all of these on my eyeballs, and I'm going to speed you up through some of this process. So first we're going to start with the primer. I'm using the Milani eyeshadow primer, and here we go. Okay, so for my crease, I think I'm going to use Pebble Beach from That's Taupe palette to kind of like build up a crease look here, and then we're going to start playing with these shades. Alright, so now I'm going to put in a little bit of Rock Steady to deepen up the outside of my crease a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to lay down a little bit of this Constrictor shade that I rolled in on the outer like half of my lid, just to see how it plays, and then I'm going to put the Sultan shade, the ColourPop Super Shock, on the first half of the lid. Then I'm just going to use my finger in Sultan to apply it, you know, across the lid there. Okay, and then I'm just going to blend through all of this a little bit more. Then I'm going to use this dark brown as my liner, and I use setting spray. So I have a flat liner brush. I'm just going to get that going. I did like just a slight little wing action there, but happy with that. So now I'm gonna grab Tempera out of here, and we're just gonna throw that up in the brow bone highlight area. Okay, I also brought it into the inner corner a little bit. So now I need some mascara, and then I think my look will be done. Okay, so this is the completed eye look that I ended up with. I'm really happy with it. I don't think I would have paired Constrictor and the, you know, Sultan shade together, but that's the beauty of this project. So really, really excited for these 4 shades. Like I said, my goal is to use them each at least 5 times, but we'll see if it's more than that. I'm sure it will be. Yeah, so that's gonna wrap up my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Let me know if you are doing something similar. So that is going to be it. I appreciate you guys hanging out today, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.